wanted to take a look at graphing an equation of this type. So we're told we're in the rectangular coordinate system and that y equals 2. So what we should assume from this is that there is absolutely no restriction on our x value, but every restriction on y, and that is that y must be 2 and only 2. X, however, can be any value we choose. So let's open up our graphing tool and we'll select our line graph. So if y is 2, now whenever I specify a line, I always have to specify 2 points. So you can see here I'm plotting the point 0, 2. So that gives me 1 point on my line, but to define a line, I have to have 2 points. So here I've plotted the point 0, 2, and I can plot any other point I want. The only restriction I have is that y must be 2. So here I've chosen to plot the point 7, 2, and that's an acceptable point. Why? Because the equation says the one and only thing that has to be true on this line is that y is 2. So when I plot that point 7, 2, I have specified the line. And you always specify your line when you plot 2 points. Okay, so I save this. I go out and I check my answer, and of course that's correct. Here's another equation, 4x plus 36 equals 0. So let's look at how we're going to address this. Okay, well, first of all, I need to put this in another form. So what I'm going to do is work with this by first subtracting 36 from both sides. So 4x is negative 36. Then I'm going to divide both sides of this by 4. And I see this is actually the equation x equal negative 9. So it turns out to be on this line, y, so this is just the opposite of what I just graphed. Y can be anything I choose. I have total freedom on my choice of y. I have no freedom on my choice of x. X must be negative 9. Absolutely no other choice for x. So this is a line where every point on the line has an x coordinate of negative 9. So let's actually take a minute and graph this. So it's similar to our previous situation. If x is negative 9, okay, there's 1 point. I plotted the point negative 9, negative 1, and to specify a line, I always need 2 points. Here I chose another point where x was negative 9 and y was 5. I could have chose any y value, but I had no choice in my x value. And as you can see, this is a vertical line. So whenever my equation gives me a fixed value for x, let's just say a in general, x equal a is a vertical line. And that's what's going to result when all the x coordinates are one and only one value. I'm going to get a vertical line. When all of the y coordinates are one and only one value, let's say that fixed value is b, that's always a horizontal line. And those are two very special situations. Hope this helps.